The text came on a Tuesday morning while I was reviewing property reports in my home office. My phone buzzed and Mom's name appeared on the screen. We're celebrating our 30th anniversary in the Maldives. Your sister is organizing everything. We've decided it's family only, people who actually care about family values. We're celebrating without you this year. Enjoy your little apartment. I stared at the message for a long moment. Then I typed back, enjoy your trip. I added a heart emoji and hit send. My assistant, David, knocked on my office door. Ms. Harper, the quarterly reports from Azure Waters Resort are ready for your review. Perfect timing, I said, smiling. Let's go through them. Azure Waters. My crown jewel. A luxury resort in the Maldives that I'd purchased 2 years ago for $42 million. It had 30 overwater villas, a spa, 3 restaurants, and the kind of pristine beaches that appeared in travel magazines. Occupancy is at 98%, David said, pulling up the spreadsheet on my laptop. We have a large booking coming in 3 weeks, a family anniversary celebration. 40 guests, full resort buyout for 5 days. I leaned forward. Show me the reservation details. David clicked through screens. The booking name appeared, Margaret and Robert Harper, 30th anniversary celebration. I started laughing. I couldn't help it. Ms. Harper. David looked concerned. Is everything all right? Those are my parents, I said, still laughing. My parents just uninvited me to their anniversary trip, not knowing I own the resort they booked. David's eyes went wide. Oh no. Oh yes, I said. Don't change anything. Process their booking normally. I want to see how this plays out. Are you sure? Because we could. David, I'm sure. I leaned back in my chair. My family thinks I'm a failure. They think I live in a little apartment and work some dead-end job. Let them keep thinking that for 3 more weeks. The truth was more complicated. Yes, I lived in a small apartment, a penthouse I owned in a building I also owned, but they didn't need to know that. I drove a 10-year-old sedan. I wore simple clothes. I didn't post on social media about my lifestyle, because I'd learned early that my family only saw what they wanted to see. 5 years ago, I'd quit my job at my father's accounting firm. He'd been furious. You're throwing away a stable career, he'd shouted. You'll never make anything of yourself. My sister, Vanessa, had been delighted. She was the golden child. Married to a successful lawyer, 2 kids, perfect suburban life. Maybe now Mom and Dad will stop comparing us, she'd said sweetly. What they didn't know was that I'd quit because I'd been secretly building a real estate portfolio for 3 years. I started small, a duplex I renovated and rented out. Then a small apartment building. Then another. By the time I quit my job, I was making more in passive income than my salary. Now, 5 years later, I own 17 properties across 4 countries. My net worth was somewhere around $85 million. But to my family, I was still the daughter who threw her life away. The 3 weeks passed quickly. I monitored the reservation, watching as my sister added special requests. Champagne in every villa. Rose petals on the beds. A private dinner on the beach. A renewal of vows ceremony. She'd spared no expense. The total bill was running close to $200,000. She's charging everything to a credit card, David noted. Should we flag it? No, I said. Let it process normally. 2 days before their trip, Vanessa called me. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of me. Hey, she said, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. Just wanted to let you know we're leaving for the Maldives tomorrow. I know, I said. Mom texted me. Right. Well, I'm sure you understand why we couldn't include you. It's a family celebration and you've been so distant lately. I understand completely, I said. Good. Well, I have to go. So much to organize. You know how it is. Wait, actually, you probably don't. You've never planned anything this elaborate. I smiled. You're right. I haven't. Have a wonderful trip, Vanessa. After I hung up, David shook his head. I don't understand how you stay so calm. Because in 48 hours this is going to be very entertaining, I said. I didn't fly to the Maldives with them. That would have been too obvious. Instead, I waited until they'd been there for 2 days, then took my private flight out. Yes, I owned a small jet, a practical purchase for someone who needed to visit properties across the globe. I arrived at Azure Waters at sunset. The resort manager, Aisha, met me at the private dock. "Miss Harper, welcome back," she said warmly. "Your villa is ready." "How are our anniversary guests?" I asked. Aisha's smile was knowing. "They're very much enjoying the resort. Your mother mentioned several times how expensive everything is. Your sister has been posting photos constantly." "Perfect," I said. "I'll stay out of sight for now. Tomorrow morning I'll make my appearance." That night I had dinner alone in my villa, the owner's residence, separated from the guest areas by a private beach. I could see the lights from the main resort, hear the faint sound of music from the celebration. I slept well. The next morning I dressed carefully. Simple white linen dress, minimal jewelry, my hair pulled back in a neat bun. I looked elegant but understated, exactly the image I wanted to project. At 9 a.m. I walked into the main reception area. Several members of the anniversary party were milling around, planning their day. I recognized my Aunt Carol, my Uncle Jim, several family friends. None of them recognized me. I'd changed my hair color since I'd last seen them, lost a bit of weight, and apparently they weren't expecting to see me here. Aisha spotted me and walked over. "Miss Harper, good morning. Is everything satisfactory with your villa?" "Perfect as always," I said, making sure my voice carried. My Aunt Carol's head snapped up. She stared at me. "I wanted to personally welcome the Harper anniversary party," I continued, speaking to Aisha but knowing everyone was listening now. "Make sure they're receiving the best possible service." "Of course," Aisha said smoothly. "We're honored to host such a special celebration at your resort." "Pie Resort," my Aunt Carol said weakly. I turned and smiled at her. "Aunt Carol, how lovely to see you. Are you enjoying your stay?" She opened her mouth but no sound came out. More family members were gathering now, drawn by the commotion. I saw my cousin David, my parents' friends the Johnsons, my sister's in-laws. "I don't understand," Aunt Carol finally managed. "You own this place?" "I do," I said simply. "Purchased it 2 years ago. It's one of my favorite properties." "One of your, how many properties do you have?" 17, I said. "Across 4 countries. This is the largest and most profitable." My Uncle Jim had joined his wife. "But you work at I thought you worked at Dad's accounting firm?" I finished. "I quit 5 years ago. I've been in real estate development and luxury hospitality since then." The lobby was filling with more guests now. Everyone was staring. "Does Margaret know you're here?" Aunt Carol asked. "Not yet," I said. "I thought I'd surprise her." As if on cue, my mother's voice rang out from the entrance. "The spa was absolutely divine. And the breakfast buffet. Jim, Carol, you have to try the tropical fruit selection." She swept into the lobby, my father beside her, Vanessa trailing behind with her husband and kids. They were all dressed in expensive resort wear, looking tanned and happy. Mom saw the crowd gathered around me first. "What's going on? Is there a problem?" Then she saw me. Her face went through several expressions in rapid succession. Confusion, recognition, shock, and something that might have been fear. "Natalie," she said weakly. "What are you doing here?" "Hello, Mom." "Dad." I nodded to my father, who had gone completely pale. "I wanted to welcome you to Azure Waters. I hope you're enjoying your anniversary celebration." Vanessa pushed forward. "You're stalking us? You followed us to the Maldives because we didn't invite you." I laughed. "Vanessa, I didn't follow you. I own this resort. You came to me." "That's impossible," she said. "This place costs, the booking alone was $198,000 for 5 days," I said. "Full resort buyout, all meals included, private events, spa treatments, the works. It's all in your contract." My father found his voice. "You own this resort?" "Yes. This entire resort. Every overwater villa, every restaurant, every grain of sand on this beach," I confirmed. "How?" Mom whispered. "Real estate," I said. "I started with a small duplex 5 years ago. Renovated it, rented it out, used the profits to buy another property. Then another. I reinvested everything, expanded into commercial properties, then luxury hospitality. This resort was my first international acquisition." Vanessa was scrolling frantically on her phone. "You're lying. There's no way you..." She stopped, her face draining of color. "Oh my God." "What?" Mom demanded. Vanessa turned her phone around. On the screen was a Forbes article, 30 Under 30 in Real Estate, Natalie Harper's Luxury Empire. The article included a photo of me at a property development conference, looking polished and professional. Nothing like the failed daughter they thought I was. $85 million, Vanessa read aloud. Net worth estimated at $85 million. Owner of Harper Luxury Properties, managing 17 high-end properties globally. The lobby was dead silent. I don't understand, Dad said. He looked genuinely confused. You quit my firm. You said you were starting over. You stopped coming to family dinners. You let us think. I let you think what you wanted to think, I said quietly. I told you I was going into real estate. You laughed and said I'd be broke within a year. I told you I'd bought my first property. You said it was a waste of money. I stopped sharing details about my life because every time I did, you dismissed it. Mom's eyes were filling with tears. But you drive that old car. You live in that tiny apartment. I drive a reliable car because I don't need to impress anyone, I said. And my tiny apartment is a 3,000 square foot penthouse in a building I own in downtown Seattle. I live small because I prefer it, not because I have to. Vanessa was still staring at her phone. The article says you're one of the youngest luxury resort owners in the industry. It says you turned down a development deal with Marriott because you wanted to maintain independent control of your properties. That's correct, I said. Why didn't you tell us? Dad asked. His voice cracked. Why did you let us think you were struggling? Because you never asked, I said simply. In 5 years, not once did any of you ask how I was really doing. You assumed. You judged. You decided I was a failure, and nothing I said would have changed your mind. My mother sat down heavily in one of the lobby chairs. We uninvited you to our anniversary. We told you that you weren't welcome because you didn't care about family values. I know, I said. And all this time we were celebrating at your resort. Yes. Vanessa looked up from her phone. The booking. The $200,000. You're going to charge us full price. I paused, considering. The entire lobby was watching me, waiting to see what I would do. No, I said finally. This celebration is my gift to Mom and Dad. For 30 years of marriage. Consider the entire stay complimentary. Mom burst into tears. Dad stood frozen, his mouth open. But, I continued, there are some conditions. Conditions? Vanessa said warily. First, you'll attend a family dinner tonight. All of us. No phones, no distractions. We're going to really talk about the last 5 years. Everyone nodded. Vanessa, I said softly. You're going to stop calling me a failure. Stop making small, hurtful comments about my choices. And you're going to apologize for all the ways you made me feel less. Vanessa's face turned red, but she nodded. Mom, Dad, I continued. You're going to accept that I built this life on my own. I don't need your approval, but I do want your respect. Dad stepped forward. Natalie, I'm so sorry. I should have believed in you. You should have, I said quietly. But you didn't, and I made it anyway. Mom was crying now. I'm proud of you. I'm so sorry I never told you that. I blinked back my own tears. Dinner tonight at 7. The private beach. Aisha will show you. Before leaving, I turned back. Oh, and Vanessa. About your vow renewal tomorrow. I've planned something special. My gift. I walked away as voices rose behind me. That evening, my family waited at a long candlelit table on the beach. The sound of the waves mixed with soft music. I wore a simple blue dress. No makeup, no jewelry. Just me. Thank you for coming, I said, sitting down. The meal began in silence. Then Dad spoke. I was wrong, he said. I thought success meant an office and a title. I didn't see what you were building. I didn't need you to understand, I said. But I needed your trust. I know, he whispered. Vanessa spoke next. I was jealous, she said. Even when I thought you were failing, I envied you. You were brave enough to start over. I've just been living the life everyone expected. I looked at her in surprise. What do you mean? I never made my own choices, she said. I married who they approved of, had kids because it was expected. You did what I never could, and I hated you for it. Mom reached for my hand. I'm sorry, Natalie. I made you feel like you couldn't share your success. I thought I was protecting you, but I was wrong. We talked for hours. About fear, pride, and the pain families cause without meaning to. By dessert, something had changed. We weren't perfect, but we were honest. The next morning, my parents renewed their vows on the beach. Flowers, music, sunlight. It was beautiful. They held hands under a floral arch, repeating the same words from 30 years ago. This time I stood with Vanessa, watching them smile through tears. After the ceremony, Dad pulled me aside. The article said you turned down a big deal, he said. I did. Why? Because I want to stay independent, I said. I built this myself and I want to keep it mine. Dad smiled. That's my daughter, stubborn and brilliant. I learned from you, I said. On their last morning, Mom joined me for breakfast on my villa deck. This place is beautiful, she said. Everything you've built is beautiful. Thank you. Why azure waters? She asked. Why here? I smiled. Remember my 10th birthday? You gave me a snow globe with a little island inside. You said someday I'd visit a place like that. Mom's eyes softened. I remember. I kept it, I said. When I saw this resort for sale, it looked just like that island. I bought it because of you. Mom began to cry. I'm sorry it took me 30 years to see you. You see me now, I said. That's what matters. That afternoon, everyone left. The hugs were real this time. Vanessa was last. Thank you, she said. For everything. For showing me another way to live. Build your life, Vanessa, I said. Not someone else's version. As the sun set, I walked along the beach. Bisha smiled. Another perfect celebration. Yes, I said. It really was. My phone buzzed. A message from Mom. We're so proud of you. Love you. I smiled, watching the waves roll in. I had built this life, this resort, this peace. And now my family finally saw me. As stars filled the sky, I headed back to my villa. Tomorrow I'd return to Seattle. But tonight I stayed here, on my island in my world. And that was enough.